What's up guys, this is Sean and welcome to another episode of the iherng podcast, and today I want to talk about a new theory that I found which is called a weekday-weekend test. First of all, thank you very much for all the emails that you guys sent, right? And it ranges from a lot of things. Some are technical, some are investment related, some are location related, right? And the toughest questions to me is when you ask for my opinion on a place that you want to call home. So this means that you are buying a property for own stay, right? And you ask me, this one can buy or not? Sean, A, B, C, this one can buy or not? I don't know. Because I'm not you, and I will never understand your requirements on a space or a location and things like that. So I was wondering, how do I actually create a test for people to run through before deciding into getting their own home? So before running this test, right, the first thing is that the property needs to be within your affordability. So let's say you want to buy a 1 million one, no judgment, but every month you just need to pay 4,500 to 5,000. No? You need to be aware of that, and your current lifestyle will be affected whether you like it or not, because it's a 30 to 35 years commitment. If you just sign on the dotted lines for the next 30 to 35 years every month without fail, 5,000 ringgit to the bank. So if it's a 10 to 12,000 kind of salary, right, you gotta accept that half of your salary, or if it's a joint income, right, one person will be working entirely for the monthly installment. So your spouse or yourself work the whole month, 30 days, solely to pay the housing installment. Is that something that you want? Then if everything is okay with the affordability, right, so like you guys know, okay, our joint income is this and we are ready for the commitment, right, every month 3,000, not an issue, we are fine because our car's paid off, we got no credit card debt whatsoever, right? Good. Then only you start running weekday weekend tests, which means, right, imagine yourself after the house is completed, when you get your keys, right, imagine yourself living in that particular house on a weekday and a weekend. So this then forces you to imagine, right, when you wake up on a weekday. For example, if we take Mont Kiara, right, so if you live in Mont Kiara, if you wake up, right, what's going to happen there? Where will you be working? Or are you a freelancer, or you're an insurance agent, real estate agent, or you're a teacher or whatsoever, right? So based on your occupation, what are your working schedules? Do you need to drive to office? Do you need to be present at your workplace? Or you can just work from home anytime you want, or you're your own boss? And the second thing will be, where would you go and buy your necessities, right? So let's say you want to go breakfast, go lunch, go dinner. Where would you go? Would you need to drive out half an hour to get into one, or just take a lift downstairs, already got one? And this applies to parents who have kids at their toddler to teenage age. So like you need to fetch them or drop them to babysitters or school or daycares or whatsoever, right? The distance to these facilities, is that location convenient? Because a lot of people now, they buy into properties, for example landed properties, right, in new locations. They are a little bit more affordable, I must agree, but it comes with a price of inconvenience where things are just not ready yet. Which means, right, once you get your keys, the school might not be ready, the shops might not be ready. They are in the pipeline, they are under construction, just that it's not ready. And let's say you were to move in already, where are your kids going to study? Where is Kelly going to get her piano lessons? Where is Tom going to study Kumon? Things like that, right? All these needs to be considered into the plan of ownership when you are buying a home. Then this also accustomed to your lifestyle. Are you a workaholic like me, right? As long as I can get internet, I'm fine. Caffeine and internet lah. Or if you're a gym junkie, so you need to have all the fitness center below you, or your favorite gym center must be there. You must have parks. Your morning rituals must be a yoga, then meditation therapy and things like that. Just imagine yourself going through an entire day in that location. That includes also if you have gatherings with your bosses or colleagues or friends every day after work, right? So you go drink a little bit, right? How far is it from your favorite hangout spot to this new location that you will call home? Is it convenient or not? After Monday to Fridays, then comes the weekends, and it's a very different schedule. So during the weekends, some parents will be more busier than usual because they will need to fetch their kids to extracurriculars, right? Normal days is like 7 o'clock, then weekends is like 6 because of football practice lah, taekwondo lah, swimming lah, tennis lah, whatever lah. Or your kids are actually homeschooled, then this is where they go to church and things like that. So the distance between your church and your new home, how is it? Or are you willing to drive 45 minutes to a new location just because it's 100,000 cheaper? Or newlyweds, you guys will need to hang out at your favorite brunch place, right? You'll wake up at 11, slowly chill, take your place. Then imagine house chores, right? So now it's a 600 square feet versus 1,600 square feet. It's a very different thing. And if it's a double story versus an apartment, it's a different thing. Many people see that the land or size, right, is like an asset, so like 4,000 square feet, Sean, 4,000, only how much? To me, the 4,000 will be a burden. I'd rather have 400 square feet than 4,000 square feet. I don't want to be a slave to actually wipe and clean and constantly service the house. Instead, I will let the house service me, right? So I'll utilize the space as much as I can, as much as I know. I'll just need, again, caffeine and internet. All that extra gardening space, right? No, thank you at this current junction of my life. So if you were to buy, let's say you are going to get the keys 4 years from now, it's very important to kind of imagine, are you married? Yes. Then you will have kids or not? Don't know yet. Then are you going to get a new job, or you're going to do your own thing? After you run the weekday-weekend test, right? It's very clear whether is that location suitable for you or not, because I've realized a lot of people are making bookings or making payments for one reason. Maybe it's like the scenery. Wow, next to the golf course, I play golf, wow, it's going to be so convenient. But you only play golf once a month. So it's a weekend thing, yes, I understand. But because of that golf course view, you will need to suffer a traffic jam of Monday to Friday to your office. Is it worth it? If it is, then it's a good choice. If it's not, then just rethink and look for another one. It's located in one of the hills, right? That is so amazing. Imagine, right? Imagine me taking my kids to the park. It's going to be so healthy on a Sunday morning. That's all. Monday to Saturday, right? You are going to just fetch them in and out like nobody's business, right? Especially if the locations of the support facilities such as your nanny, your daycare, your tuition centers, your taekwondo class, your ballet class, your violin class, piano class, whatever class are kids nowadays, right? And guess who's doing the fetching? You or your wife or your husband. So that day in, day out kind of thing, right? Then that will indirectly forms whether you want a landed or high rise already. So all these are predicated on the fact that I value time the most. Time is the most important currency in our lives. That's what I think. Okay, so whatever I do, right, as long as it's effective, convenient, I will go ahead with it. Yep, so I think that's all. So just to conclude this, right, it's a weekday-weekend thing, especially for people who are buying properties for their own stay. So you need to run two things. Number one, the affordability test, which is like, can you afford? And are you aware of the monthly installments and commitments that's going to be on you for the next 30 to 35 years? So let's say it's 4,000 for 30 years to 35 years until you sell it. So if you guys have planned on like setting up your own business, or maybe you want to try out a cafe, or you want to have your own business venture, or you want to do your own thing, be a YouTuber or whatsoever, right? Then I would suggest to have a conversation between two parties, right? Can we afford this? Or is it really necessary to buy a place that we call home when we are 28, when we are going to live until 80 or 90 or 100? Is it too soon? Have these conversations. There's no right, no wrong, as I mentioned before. But I just think it's very, very good to have that honest conversations between partners if you're joining income, especially. Because just buying something above the affordability, right, it means you're locking down your freedom, and that will actually limit your opportunity and growth for the future. For example, if there's business ventures that people want to collaborate with you, you cannot participate because the risks are just too high, because every month, whether you like it, you need to pay the monthly installment. So after that test, you pass that test. The second test would be the weekday-weekend test, where you imagine yourself. So these are the softer things, like the lifestyle kind of things. Is that location going to support whatever you need in a location, which means, right, all the support amenities. I play golf, so I need a golf course. I need the diving school. I need this. I need gyms. I need highways. I need convenience. I need my Sabah Sangyupman. I need my bubble teas, whatsoever. Just imagine yourself living an entire weekday in the house and an entire weekend in the house. Yep. So I think after you run these two tests, then pretty much you will have a greater picture on whether this location suits you or not. Right, so I think that's all for this episode. Thank you very much for listening. And this is something that I formulate, I think, during the live shows last weekend, because a lot of people asking me, this location can buy or not. I don't know. But after running these two tests, I think you will have a greater picture on your purchase. With that, thank you very much for watching and see you guys on the next one. Ciao.